Hello everyone, I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Queen's Wish 2, The Tormenta. Last episode, seems we got a little bit of an issue here with rebels going on. We have been told to head northwards to Fort Meadow 4, which I believe is going to be right here. So, let's make our way north. From this distance, this looked like a camp of loyal warriors guarding the pass and keeping it safe for you. Roe does have a proper okay, we already went through that, and they are going to attack us. Okay. That one's an archer. You are actually going to go here. No. Give another healing to Rupert. There go those three. There goes the archer. Now we just got a couple raiders to deal with. There goes one. One left. Give one more healing to Rupert. There we go. Alright, they've been handled. Good. We should probably just head straight up to the fort and deal with these other things later. Fight those guys later. Let's just get to the fort. The farmlands of Fort Meadow 4 are tended to by this lone group of workers. Some are Roe. A few came from overseas. Your mother would be appalled to see your land so neglected. They bow as you pass. There's a problem here, but it's not really your problem. Well, we found the fort. You finally reached the outskirts of Fort Meadow 4. This is a fortress of Haven, one of 7 in the Rokaj. You are standing on actual Haven land now, given to you your nation by treaty. Haven's vassal states always give up these patches of land for your fortresses. Unfortunately, you see little here to make you proud. Fort Meadow 4 has been neglected for years. The roads are torn up, the crops are failing, some of the workshops inside have even been abandoned. So is a military camp to the east. You can see why Sutter sent you straight here. Now that you actually need battle support, there's a lot of work to do here. Let's uncover all the territory around it first. Ah, it's a river fort. Oh. Okay. You enter Fort Meadow 4, Haven's main fortress in the Gentle Coast. You dimly remember visiting here when you were a small child. Back then, it was run down and neglected. In the last few decades, it has been allowed to crumble. Shockingly, nobody greets you. No guards are visible. They must be off dealing with the raiders from the north. Your escort runs off to secure the fort. Sutter promised that General Miranda would meet you. You do hear people talking. The voices come from outside the only fully intact building. There's a warehouse and command post in the center of Fort Meadow 4, looking out over the river port. Your warriors depart. Speak with General Miranda in the center of town to learn how to recruit them again. So, do we not have them? Yeah, this is a guard tower. There's a neglected guard tower in the corner of the fortress. Normally, you would expect to see ballistas and watchful guards upstairs. These days, who knows what mess you'll find. The lower level is dusty and empty. The floor is scratched and worn. Whatever work was done here, the equipment was removed some time ago. You'll need to find a use for this space. You can build workshops and other useful structures on open wood floor. Each fort will have a free area you can build on immediately. Which I guess is this. Yeah, there's a lot of, rubble. Unsurprisingly. I hope the fact that we gave one of them a hood doesn't mean we lost the hood forever because we jumped ahead. That would be great if we didn't lose the hood. I really hope we didn't lose the hood. Okay. There really is only one intact building, jeez. The headquarters of Fort Meadow 4 loom over the small port to the west. Long docks extend into the cold, wide river, which flows down from the tall peaks of the Rocage. You can see a large warehouse hanging off the back of the hall. The building is intact and under Haven's control. Nice change of pace from the mess you've seen so far. In front of the hall, an aggravated General Miranda is getting a report from some Haven scouts. You know her well. She helped you greatly during your mission in Sacramentum. She takes a break from her shouting to give you a wave. Alright. When General Miranda turns to face you, you can see the relief on her face. You have a reputation for being unpredictable, but given the miserable state of the fort, any help is desperately welcome. She waves away her scouts to return to their jobs, turns to you and bows. Prince Rupert, it's an honor to be working for you again. I wish I had a better report to give. I need your report. What's your status? She looks at the backs of the departing scouts. Not terrible, actually. We've been raided by a small, determined force from the mountains of the Row. They've taken several locations and are holding them. Prince Sutter has already departed to dislodge them from a few mines they seized. He believes that their leader is there. Who sent this attack, and why? Unknown. The force was small, fortunately. Prince Sutter hopes to grab one of the leaders and question the prisoner vigorously. Who are the attackers? A mix of raiders from the Low Daga and Ka-Wolves. Interestingly, the Ka-Wolves seem to have been obeying the humans. This is rare and strange. Ka-Wolves can be trained, but it is very difficult. Perhaps Sage Harlan can investigate this question in calmer times. Is Fort Meadow 4 under threat? Not currently. The raiders bypassed us, heading directly to Port Osborne. No doubt to abduct or kill you. The raiding force is small, but their actions have a true outrage against the dignity of Haven. Fort Meadow 4 is an odd name. Oh, yes. Well, early settlers called it Fort Meadow because the Gentle Coast is so, well, meadowy. But all forts of Haven have to have different names, and when the settlers reported the fort name, a 4 was appended to it. Records, rules, you know. What is the status of Fort Meadow 4 now? As you can see, it is, well, it's pretty gruesome. Haven's fortifications in the Row have been neglected, to an extent that Prince Sutter found... Well, he said a lot of loud words. We'll be counting on you to direct its rebuilding. First, however, Prince Sutter left some orders for you. I already have more orders. Your older brother was fairly insistent. He wants the raiders driven out and the areas they stole liberated. I can relay his precise instructions to you. First, however, you should recruit some soldiers. I need to recruit soldiers. I have seen firsthand how competent a warrior you are. However, assaulting a raider's stronghold alone would be... Prince Sutter was very insistent that you have help. Happily, the 3 soldiers who escorted you here are still at your service. 3 warriors. I could actually use a lot more, like, 50? General Miranda gives you a weak smile. Usually those on stealthy or diplomatic mission travel with a smaller complement. Also 3 is all we have to spare, my apologies. When you are ready, please find me in my office. She turns and enters the training hall. End this conversation to learn how to recruit warriors. Make a party of 4. Okay, let's go through this. Edit party button, press plus to add a character to the group. Also make new characters for your roster. Build a fort in another nation, you'll be able to recruit characters from there. Alright, so... Elspeth, Terrence, and Patricia. See fort summary, pretty sure nothing noted there. Dedicated to knowledge, industry, and the Row. Interesting. But yes, there we go. And we should be able to change things now. Yes, we can. Alright, so... Oh, you guys do have cultural. Alright, you are a mage. Okay, so remove that, remove that. Put there, put there. That'll work for me, I think. Majory's a good one to have. You are our support guy. Battle medic would actually be good to have, but we'll pick that up later. You're our melee fighter. I think you're fine as you are, and so are you. Alright. Although, I would like to get a healing ability for you, so that you can actually do something. But that'll be at a different point. Alright, well, let's go inside. Chief Cestus. Well, as you approach Miranda's office, you walk by a gleaming mirror. This is a remarkably useful magical device. It enables people to speak with each other over great distances. For example, it enables your mother to nag and pester you from thousands of miles away. At the moment, it looks like an ordinary mirror. No messages for you. If it sparkles, that means someone wants to speak with you. Each of Haven's 7 forts has one of these mirrors. You can check them often to get information. Sometimes this knowledge will be useful. You see you. Nobody's trying to speak with you right now. And here we have Miranda. What else do you need, Prince? I can give guidance and support as needed. Water. So you're a general now. I'd like to know more about what you've been up to. Oh, I'm sorry, Prince. I'm sure we will have time to talk later. For now, Prince Sutter was very insistent that I follow his orders and ignore distractions. Of course, that is very reasonable. Want to know more about Prince Sutter? Of course. He arrived not long before you in the greatest of haste. He received my report, gave some orders, said some things about you, and departed immediately. What did he say about me? Oh, she greatly regrets mentioning it. You make it clear that you expect an answer. He said, I managed to get brother out of bed in doing something. Rupert should be useful for once. General Miranda looks deeply unhappy. Useful for once? Did you forget about the fact that I practically single-handedly managed to completely secure Sacramentum? We weren't able to tell anyone about the Nisei, so ignore that. Where did he go? To hunt brigands to the north. He thinks that he can find and question their leader and learn why this raid happened. Will the prince be safe? I devoutly hope so. I'm not worried. Everyone knows that Prince Sutter is enormously gifted in battle. As are you. That's enough on this topic. Of course, Prince, there's much to do. I have recruited more soldiers, now what? Now I can relay Prince Sutter's message. There's something he wants you to do. Not me, of course. I would never give orders to royalty of Haven, but... Well, he told me what I have to say. Sutter wants me to do something. Fine. What? So when they were rushing south, a handful of the raiders went east. They grabbed control of the Spiretop Lighthouse. Prince Sutter wants you to go there and retake it. Get what intelligence you can. Do Haven proud. Bear the flag high. All the usual. You completed a quest by reaching Fort Meadows 4. This has given you enough experience to give you a level. And I'll learn how to train characters after. What is Spiretop Lighthouse? Oh, it's a lighthouse constructed by Haven. Helps merchant ships through a particularly jagged area of sea. It's not hugely significant in the scheme of things, but even one tower held by this rabble is too many. Prince's words. Where's the lighthouse? Leave Fort Meadow 4 and travel east on the roads. Follow the signs. We don't know how many enemies are there, and Sutter is sending me. Oh, Prince Sutter gave me a response in case you expressed such a sentiment. Please, these are your brother's words, not mine. Go on. Ahem. Rupert, quit your whining and show this rabble what Haven can do. No enemy force could ever be too large. I'm not sure that that is true, but it is what he said. We await news of your victory. Okay. General now. Okay. Ignore distractions. Fine, let's speak with other people. Oh, right. Gained a level. You'll also gain a skill point. Everyone is leveled up. Okay. We have a point here. Evasion Charm. Evasion to an ally for 3 turns. Okay. Overall, however, I think what I need to give you... You need to have a healing... Actually, hold on. If I don't give you a healing ability... Powerfully haste, Haven's mercy, Haven's command. Haven's command. Alright, Elspeth, you are our melee person. Let's give you whirlwind attack. Terrence, you are our healer. You're gonna take, not costing action points. That's interesting. But no, give a point in healing. And as for you, our mage, let's see. Improve Ice Wave. There we go. You are going to take that. You have no new ability. You have no new ability. Okay. The Empire of Haven. Haven is one of the greatest powers in the known lands. It is an empire, and not shy about admitting it. Its conquests are not gained by war, usually, but by diplomacy, cunning, and clever use of its small but highly disciplined military and powerful wizards. In the early days, Haven was one of many small, wild, violent city-states. More disciplined, more cautious, but still one of many. Haven has its own warriors and wizards. They fight, and very well. However, there are not enough of them to conquer the world by force of arms. Thus, it is by alliances that Haven grows. That is why Haven's symbol is the scroll. Haven makes deals and lives by them. Haven buys the independence of smaller powers, and it is brutal when they try to regain it. Well, let's see what else is in this building. Let's see. Storage area. Ah! A leather cap. Yeah, I'll take that. Pity there's no merchants at the moment. I'm sure they'll show up eventually. In the hall to the north, you see a stone portal. This is one of the most prized of Haven's magical artifacts. When it is open and glowing, you can walk through it to the Palace of Haven and back. Only those who have been touched by a certain spell can use the portal, usually royalty. Of course, it was applied to you at birth. The portal consumes great energy and tends to make the user very nauseated. A vomiting pod is provided. Still, when someone important needs to be moved somewhere very quickly, this is the best method. You approach the portal. It leads back to Sharon's palace, your home. When you get close, an invisible hand flings you back. You have to have the Queen's permission to walk through this portal. When travel through it is allowed, you will be told. Until then, you are stuck here. There's the vomiting pot. Not much in here. Well, some copper bits, so that's a thing. There is an upper floor. First, let's speak with Chief Cestus. This used to be a grand hall where emissaries from Haven met with leaders of the Row. Like everything else in Fort Meadow 4, it is neglected and depressing. At least there's still one official here to speak for your nation. She's an old woman wearing ill-fitting leather armor. It bears the insignia of a chief, a commander of one of your proud forts. When you approach, she slumps in her chair and lets out a tired sigh. It is an honor to meet a Prince of Haven after all of these quiet years. I am Chief Cestus. I have served in Fort Meadow 4 for many years. Now that you have looked around, I'm sure you have much to say. Her voice is fitting, tired and defeated. I've had a chance to inspect your fort. It was inevitable that this reckoning would come. We await your judgment. Your fort is not in good shape. That is the kindest possible way to state the truth. This fort is useless. Doesn't have to always be that way, though. Haven has returned. Perhaps I can still be of use. How did you come to be a chief here? My first posting was in the Rocage over 30 years ago. I served all over this land. Then I was honored with this post. I served my entire career here. I even remember when you visited. You were a small child, and the last time royalty of Haven came here, before now. 30 years is a long time. Yes, most officers of Haven choose to travel from time to time. See the world, stay fresh. I chose to have roots. You chose to stay here. I love this land. Even though they are on the brink of war with us now, I admire their spirit. Also, we are their overlords. The sun and the sky, even though we ignore them. I settled down, raised a family here. It happens. So any long-term plans? I will do everything to help you return peace to the row. Then I will retire. I will stay here no matter what cost. Then you can replace me with someone up to the job of rebuilding. Yeesh. Chief Cestus slumps in her chair. Her face is without expression. You wonder when she last showed any passion for the work. You watch as a fine layer of dust slowly settles on her. What happened to Fort Meadow 4? You are my prince, so I must be honest. It was neglect. After your father, Consort Darmal, died, the Rokaj was forgotten. That is how it seemed all these years. I take full responsibility for the state of Fort Meadow 4. My underlings share no responsibility. This is an adequate response. It is the truth. We have done our best. At least the Rokaj is still held. History teaches us that they punished neglect with the rebellion. Of course, that may be what is happening now. I will need support for my mission here. Of course, Prince. What little we have is yours. I should call your attention to the mirror and the portal. We've created quarters for you upstairs. There are supplies and a place to rest there. Any real help, however, will have to come from General Miranda. It is an honor to have her here. In return, I may occasionally need your judgment. Tell me about the mirror. It is right outside this office. When it sparkles, someone is trying to talk to you. It is how Sharon's palace speaks with us. It has been quiet for a long time, but now that you are here... Tell me about the portal. It is in one of the northern halls. It leads back to Sharon's palace. Once you're done with the row, I expect that you'll be using it to return home. Tell me about my quarters. They are upstairs, looked over by your butler. You can rest and store excess equipment there. We will give our lives to keep you safe. Tell me about General Miranda. She has taken over my office to the east. She's extremely quick and competent, I must say. Much needs to be decided about the future of the Rokaj. When you have made a decision, it must be delivered to her. You may need my judgment. This is the foremost of Haven's forts in the Rokaj. Sometimes we need to judge legal disputes for our vassal state. The most difficult ones are brought to this hall for me to judge. It can be very difficult, and I could use help. Please drop by this hall from time to time. I may need your wisdom for a trial. Now that an uprising has begun, I am no longer sufficient to handle the trickiest bits of diplomacy. Anything I can do for you to help to restore the fort? Not yet. Right now, Prince Sutter's orders override all. I understand he wants Spiretop Lighthouse retaken. General Miranda can tell you more. Once that is done, speak with me again. I might be able to help you. We'll work on that later. Well, let's take a look upstairs. The upper floor of the hall is dedicated to the business of Haven. General Miranda managed to clean it up a little before you arrived. It isn't an entire ruin. Your bedroom is to the west. You are desperately relieved to see your most prized piece of equipment, your butler, Stonehouse. He was sent to Fort Meadow 4 ahead of you, and he seems to have survived the raider attack so far. He stands at attention, waiting to see to your royal needs. His face is calm, and his eyes have their constant look of haunted despair. I need more water soon. How glorious. Waiting outside your quarters, you find Stonehouse. He has been your butler since you were a small child. Now, while you were being stalked by brigands and carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, he has been here, hiding, safe and comfortable. He hands you a warm, moist towel as you approach, to clean the dirt off of the road from your face. His eyes have his usual mix of terror, despair, and quiet resignation. Hello, Prince. As always, I await your command. Jeez, these are all not exactly pleasant. Stonehouse, why are you looking back here like a coward? I am sorry, Prince. Prince Sutter directed me to come here and prepare your rooms while you were at the port. When the raiders attacked, I failed to emerge and single-handedly battle them, as my death would only free me from my servitude. I apologize, Stonehouse. I know you were doing your best under very difficult circumstances. You would never say that. Wow. Why would I treat him like this? Jeez. As long as you are very sorry. I am sorry, Prince. Regret consumes me. Guilt devours my insides. Though I am unworthy to ask, is there anything I can do for you? Any messages for me? I go downstairs to check the mirror frequently. It is currently silent. I have a job for you. Of course, the Queen has had me join you on your long, long travels to make sure that you are presentable. She wishes for a certain image Haven's envoys need to project when dealing with our vassals. How may I be of service? I've had a hard journey. I need a drink. Stonehouse presents you with a mug of thick, salty liquid. Alas, until the supply situation improves, our only available drink is this thick concoction made by the locals. You swig it down. It tastes like fermented blood. In character for the Rokaj, I suppose. It does the job. That's all I need. I will be here if you need more. I need some information. Stonehouse nods. You've always used him as a conduit to find out what your family and the lower classes are thinking. You can get a variety of information from him. Are we making progress bringing civilization to the Rokaj? Not yet. Right now, I am still gathering my basic supplies. I can only provide the standard living of a very poor merchant or a very successful peasant. What does my mother think of me? I am unable to determine either way. You have not acted decisively for or against the interests of Haven. Do I have a reputation for strength or weakness? I am unable to determine either way. You have not acted particularly kind or particularly cruel. What do the people of the Rokaj think of me? From the rumors I hear, you have caused the Rokaj to hate and distrust Haven more than they did before. So if you care about their opinion, and you shouldn't, there it is. How am I progressing in reclaiming this colony? Your work has barely begun. You should speak with General Miranda and learn how to rebuild this fort. That is all. Come check with me again later. I will continue to listen and learn. That is all then. Then I will wait here until you return, pondering perhaps what I could have done to deserve a life of such good fortune. Indeed. You find the library of Fort Meadow 4. It is the most intact and well-protected room in the fort. Haven's symbol is a scroll for a reason. Treaties, records, histories, and communication are much of the source of Haven's power. A lone figure wanders among the dusty stacks. You remember him as Sage Harlan. He was one of Miranda's assistants, back when she was but a lowly chief on Sacramentum. When Harlan sees you, he turns and bows, his arms heavy with the load of delicately balanced scrolls. Oh, I'm glad you made it so safely, Prince Rupert. I know little about the row so far, but I will help however I can. Thank you. Sage Harlan sets down his scrolls, invites you into his library, and eagerly pours you a cup of tea. Oh, I'm so glad that you are here. I've been in a lot of Haven's vassals, but this one is the messiest since, well, Sacramentum. It is an honor to work with you again. As you talk, Stonehouse pokes his head through the door behind you. Aw, he must be lonely. I remember you. Well met. Oh, I'm gratified that you remember me, and I am happy to be of assistance again. I don't have a blade, but I have knowledge. I can help direct the blades to where they would do the most good. What do you do for Haven? I am a sage. I collect knowledge. I keep records. I write contracts. We sages maintain the framework of knowledge and laws upon which our glorious empire hangs. As for me in specific, I am in General Miranda's retinue. You follow General Miranda. I have that good fortune. We met in Sacramentum, and I was lucky enough to hitch myself to her star. She has risen in status quickly, and she has taken me with her to her postings. Done much traveling lately? Well, since our time in Sacramentum, the General and I were posted in 6 different vassal states. I have learned much, reached many libraries. None of them, however, were as colorful as the row. Or as violent. Sage Harlan sets down his scrolls, invites you into his library, and eagerly pours you a cup of tea. Oh, I'm so glad that you are here. I've been in a lot of Haven's vassals. Oh. We've already done that. I want to know more about the Rokaj. Oh yes, this fascinating land. A small land with rich resources and a wild history. One of Haven's vassals for over 200 years. Most of them peaceful. I know little about it so far, I know. I am learning quickly and I can share what I know. The Rokaj has 4 provinces. The Gentle Coast, the Kranas Woods, the Low Daga, and the High Litha. Tell me about the Gentle Coast. This is where we are now. It is a coastline, the least rocky and most hospitable of the lands of the Row. Traditionally, it is the safest place to be. Also the wealthiest. Stonehouse emits a choking noise. However, the other provinces have developed a great dislike for the Gentle Coast. Why is the Gentle Coast so wealthy? They control the ports and the main roads through this land. Thus they profit from all trade. They are the ones who deal with outsiders the most as well. Why is it disliked? It is wealthy and constantly deals with outsiders. This has resulted in a weakening of the warrior spirit, I suppose. The coast is seen by some as abandoning the ways of the Rokaj. They have a point. Once raiders from the Low Daga would never have raided this land with such ease. Haven has had a pacifying influence. Here, I mean, not inland. What is in the Kranas Woods? Oh, thick forest. It has not been heavily exploited. The Row there tend toward nature worship. Understandable, given the strong natural magic. This region has a number of mines that produce quality iron. The woods are a source of iron? That seems odd. Oh, you can find all sorts of metals in these peaks. The people of the Kranas like to dig mines, as it enables them to make a living while leaving their sacred groves alone. There's strong natural magic there. Explain. Oh, it's nothing unusual. Most of our vassals have regions with pockets of powerful natural magic. This tends to result in a crude form of worship. Harmless as long as it's left alone. The Kranas Woods have some sacred groves. Again, not unusual in Haven's vassals. Tell me about the Low Daga. These are the hills to the northeast. Very rocky, uneven terrain. Lots of valleys. A natural home for brigands and mylings. Oh, sorry, they call them cowwolves here. The raiders who attacked us came from there. Their hills contain a variety of high-quality stone, mined for export. Do they work the stone as well? Oh, yes. The Dagans are talented architects and builders. Most of the buildings you see here were made by them. Haven's laws prevent them from building fortifications that would overly annoy us. Their workers still have much profitable work to do. The walls of this fort were built by Dagans. Just about the only part of Forest Meadow 4 that didn't collapse in our absence. The raiders who attacked us are from there. So they hate us? Oh, I'm sure everyone in the Rokaj hates us. Most of them only hate us a tiny bit. Others, well, more. However, the Low Daga is a land of raiders. They are more likely to act on their hate than most. What is the High Litha? The highest, coldest peaks of the Rokaj. I don't know much of them. In fact, Haven knows surprisingly little about what is up there. Few people. Cold, taciturn, and fierce. There are tales, though. Lots of mountain spirits. Mad shamans who talk to them. And, well, they control the Row in their way. They're best kept happy. Any precious resources up there? They do have something very precious. Quicksilver. There are deposits of it in the ores of their peaks. Some of their shamans drink it to stay properly mad. The rest is traded for food and supplies. Ah, that. They control the Row. How? We're not entirely sure. They are a fierce and remote people. The High Litha is said to be where the true spirit of the Row is stored. Their opinions have a great influence on how the rest of the Row acts. Haven doesn't really understand the process. Perhaps you can learn more. Oh, freeze to death trying. Tell me about the beliefs of the Rokaj. Honestly, it is hard to get accurate information about them. Previous accounts of the Row tend to be colored with excessive hatred and fear. Excessive is not the word I would use. Appropriate, maybe. They have been conquered by many empires, and their jagged, hostile land has bred a nation of fierce warriors. Their ferociousness is well known. Yes, the Row can be surprisingly hard to provoke. Once a blade is drawn, however, the one who wields it is determined to win or die. The roe who drinks and chats with you one day might try to kill you the next. Once he attacks, he will be difficult to defeat, even for a Havenite. They are conquered a lot. History records 3 unsuccessful occupations before ours. Each seemed to be going well for years. Then weakness was shown and the Rokaj struck back. They attempted to defeat Haven a century ago. And they are trying to do right now as well. Why are the roe so hard to understand? Sage Harlan chuckles and gives his stacks of books a reproachful look. There is a concept in the Rokaj unique among our vassals. Each roe carries within something called a deep truth. Deep truth. What the person truly believes. It is stored like a treasure deep within, never shared, never revealed. As long as the deep truth is still there, a roe can do whatever it takes to survive. However, this means that most you meet will never ever tell you what they actually believe. It makes learning about them a delightful challenge. You're trying to learn about the Rokaj. Need any help? For the barest hint of a moment, you see a glint of greed in Harlan's eye. You recognize this look well. When you're a prince, everyone wants something from you. Oh, Haven knows so little about the Rokaj. We have not explored it seriously for 20 years. What have they learned? What do they believe? The libraries of Haven ache for fresh books. What do you need? Oh, there are many learned people about the Rokaj. The Erudico, their caste of researchers, is still active. They have many shamans, many sages. See if you can get books from them. Books that reflect what they have learned in the last few decades. If you can bring them to me, I can use them to increase the wealth of all of Haven. Excuse me, and where might these books be found? Anywhere, I think, but you are most likely to find them around the Erudico or other shamans. Don't take any risks, of course. Yes, no risk. That is what everyone who wants something says. I have learned of some works that might be valuable. He points at a journal in a nearby podium. My notes are there. Alright. This episode's going a bit long, but we're almost done. Haven's Secrets of Power. The true founders of Haven created a pattern of their domination. Look for lands full of small warring powers. Ally with the most powerful one and give it the magic and weaponry needed to defeat its enemies. In return, once this chosen faction takes power, demand trade and partial control of that nation, making it a vassal state. If the nation ever tries to back out of the deal, ally with one of its rivals and help Haven's new friend destroy the disobedient former vassal state. Then demand loyalty from the shattered nation that remains. The Rokaj follows this pattern mostly. There is always a faction that will take control on behalf of Haven. However, they will almost always rebel soon after. The Ro are a very independent-minded people. And here, Ro works of interest. The Rokaj, for all its reputation as a land of mindless warriors, has a long history of natural science and magical study. However, they like to keep their knowledge secret. We have heard some intriguing titles Haven should copy. Their Erudico continues to do research, though its pace has slowed during the recent decades of neglect by Haven. We have heard of books called Erudico Principles, Erudico Earth Law, and Erudico Sky Signs. Of course, these can probably be stolen from Erudico halls. The shamans of the Kranis Woods have started to actually write down some of their centuries of natural study. You've not yet found a copy of the work Beasts of the Groves. Look for one where their shamans reside. And a few of the stonemasons of the Lodaga have noted interesting qualities of the rocks they dig up. Look for a copy of layers of stone in their workshops. And the Mist Talkers of the High Litha have also begun to write down some of what they have learned. They're particularly careful about keeping their secrets. Where the Mist Talkers live and study, look for a copy of Lies of the Dead. Anything else? Okay, that's just the bathroom. What about in here? Bed with some more fine furs for some more coin. And this is probably our quarters. General Miranda and Stonehouse, working together, attempted to set up quarters for you worthy of a Prince of Haven. Of course, they failed. The meal left out for you is cold, and the cask of wine left for you is of a subpar vintage. Could be worse. Your wild youth left you with a bit of a reputation in the known lands. As a result, you do have food and wine, and the bed has proper sheets and a pillow. You can rest in beds like this one to recover your strength. A chest waits in the center of the room, doubtless full of equipment necessary for survival. When you're on a quest and receive a reward item you can't carry, it will appear in this chest. Okay. Oh, wow! We got quite a bit here. cloth gloves. We've already got a leather cap. Haven't built enough carpenters to maintain that. Ooh, the iron short blade, though, yeah, that's definitely better. Okay, you can do with a leather cap. You can do with the amethyst orb. Not gonna bother with that. And I think the rest of these we can leave. So once we actually get a place that we can sell stuff, we'll come back here, get the things, and put them in to sell them. Alright! That's some good loot. And with that, I am going to go ahead and end this episode here. Not the stream, just the episode. Next episode, we'll head outside and see if we can do something about getting to the lighthouse to the east. I'm pretty sure that's what we need to do next immediately. But that'll be in the next episode. So until then, I'm Chester44, also known as Fly. That is Rupert. What is it? Rupert, Elspeth, Terrence, and Patricia. This has been a Let's Play of Queen's Wish 2. God damn it, it's already been a while. Queen's Wish 2... Not the Conqueror. Tyrant? Damn it, what was it? The Tormentor! And I shall see you all next time.